Hello, everyone. This is another Black Conservative. I am Ryan Bowling. Thank you all for joining me once again. So, pop star Lizzo was given a 200-year flute. I think the flute was like 200 years old, doing some kind of I think it was a celebration. And she's seen twerking on stage while she's giving this flute rendition. Now, before I even get into this article, I'm just gonna put right out front. I don't listen to this lady sing. I've never heard her sing. I've seen her quite a few times. I've heard some of the things she has said that come out of her mouth that's been nasty. So, but I'm saying that to put this out here. Look, I don't have to listen to her music to critique and criticize the way she acts. So I don't want anybody to say, well, you don't listen to her music. How can you criticize? How can you give your opinion? I'm not giving my opinion on her music. I'm giving my opinion on her actions. She's foul-mouthed and she's nasty and she's a bad representation for African-American young people. But before I go into any more, and young people, period, in this country. But before I go any further, let's get into this article. So you heard that part. That's the introduction. An article starts off with Grammy-winning pop star and Joe Biden Kamala Harris surrogate. So this sounds like an opinion piece here somewhat. Lizzo played a 200-year-old crystal flute lent to her by the Library of Congress before proclaiming, quote, "B, I just twerked and played James Madison's crystal flute from the 1800s. Now, just before I even read any further, do you even think that that's something that she should have said? Do you think that's appropriate? Is that supposed to be cool? Is it supposed to be the stuff that pop culture embraces today is just disgusting, in my opinion. I'm an 80s kid, man. I came up in the 80s and I'm 16 years old. The music we listen to, the movies we watch, they may have been risque to some extent, but they're nothing as nasty and profane as it is now. These celebrities, these singers, these people are nasty. Whether or not they're doing it on their own, or whether or not this attitude has been pushed upon them by the record studios because they feel that this is what sells, which it does not sell. People have been brainwashed and believing that this stuff is good. Is another story. But the point is, they're nasty mouth and they're foul and they're a bad negative influence. Let's go on. Lizzo was on stage at one of her recent concerts. So that's where she was at. She was at a concert when she was handed a 200-year-old flute originally owned by the fourth U.S. President, James Madison. Why would somebody even give that? We're going to read on. We're going to read on. We're going to read on. Let's read. Let's keep reading. It's crystal. It's like playing out of a wine glass, B. So be patient, Lizzo told her audience before playing the flute. Is this cool? Why does she keep saying this B stuff? What's all that supposed to be? Is that supposed to be cool? Lizzo then played the flute and exclaimed, quote, "B, I just twerked and played James Madison's crystal flute from the 1800s. We just made history tonight." You right, you did just make history. You made history looking like a slut. And I saw the video. You can log on to this article here in the description box below. And there's clips of her literally twerking. This to me is disgusting. It's a horrible image for our young people. This is what our young people have to look up to, folks. Forget about brilliant economists like Thomas Sowell and Walter Williams and the other economists that Walter Williams was basically, not Walter Williams, Thomas Sowell was basically a protege of. Forget his name. But these people were brilliant. You know, they were brilliant. You know, never mind people like Ben Carson, a brain surgeon. You never hardly hear anything about these intelligent, intellectual men and women who should be promoted on the mainstream media among our young people. But do you see that? No. You see people like this woman who is overweight. She's overweight. She's not ugly, but she's clearly overweight. And okay, and look, please, before anybody attack me, I'm not coming against people that's overweight. Okay, so let's stop it. When you talk about people that's over, man, stop it. You know good and well I'm not talking about people that's overweight. That's not what I'm talking about. I've seen people like what was it? Those two women back in the 80s song "It's Raining Men." It's raining men, hallelujah, it's raining men, amen. Well, this is back in the 80s, I believe. These women were clearly overweight, but they were tasteful women. They were tasteful. They had class. They weren't nasty. And they didn't become real popular because maybe perhaps, they were overweight. And, let's face it, this is Hollywood. It's about entertainment. And that kind of stuff, it can be unappealing to the eyes. It is what it is. I didn't make that up. That's the way entertainment is. That's what people really want to see. But this kind of individual and with this kind of mouth is pushed onto the people. She's promoted as someone to look up to. She's promoted as someone that's healthy and inspiring to be you should aspire to be like her. Now, let me tell you something before I go any further in this video. Should you love yourself regardless of how you look? Yes, you should. Self-worth comes from within. So I'm in no way saying that people should put themselves down, whether they may be overweight or underweight or whatever. That's not what I'm saying. But when you have these Marxist, communist, liberals pushing and promoting unhealthy lifestyles, that's where I challenge it. That's where I criticize. And that's what they're doing with this so-called pop star Lizzo. She's foul-mouthed and nasty. And to have her sing, using the flute, and I mean, it's just disgusting. Just watch it for yourself. Watch the video for yourself. Let me go on with this, man. Let me attempt to go on with this because this is really bad. After that, the singer handed the flute back to Library of Congress representative. So this is what these were the people that gave her this Library of Congress representative. Shows you how screwed up they are. Lizzo posted the video of her playing the flute twice on Instagram. In one of the video captions, the singer claimed that she was the first person to ever play the flute. I guess this is what she said. She says, "You all, the Library of Congress, let me play their historic 200-year-old crystal flute on stage tonight," she wrote. "No one has ever heard what it sounds like. Now you do." She goes on to say, in another video caption, Lizzo said, quote, "I'm the first and only person to play this presidential crystal flute. It's literally an heirloom. Like, as a flute player, this is iconic and I would never be over it." So why would they pick somebody like that to play the flute? If it's never been played before, whatever the case, but why would they pick her to do that? The image that she's pushing. Now, she played the flute and it doesn't sound bad, but you can listen. I'm watching it. I'm watching the image. You can watch it if you watch the video, a few seconds long. I'm watching it and it's like, she act like she don't know what to do. She's like gloating and cheesing over all these people screaming and hollering her name. Well, not hollering her name, but they were screaming and hollering in the background. Like, screaming. And I'm saying to myself, why are they screaming? What is it about this lady? Now, somebody might say in the comment section, well, she's very, very popular. She's so this and so that. Okay, whatever. If that's what you like, that's fine. Maybe she can sing. I never heard her sing. I'm only giving my opinion on this particular incident of what she's doing and what she's saying and the words she's using. I don't need to hear any of her songs. She got a foul, nasty mouth and it's a bad image. Period. Bottom line. Let's go on. Lizzo also explained to her audience that the flute was, quote, from the early 1800s. This is a gift to James Madison from a French crystal flute designer to celebrate his second term, according to a report by Daily Mail. There was a fire, and the only two things that were saved were a portrait of George Washington and this crystal flute right here, she added. I'm the first person to ever play it. Last month, Lizzo, who previously bragged about how her bank account is so, quote, fat, used her MTV award speech to claim she is oppressed and begged her fans to, quote, vote to change some of these laws that are oppressing us. So here we go, this political bull crap. And you know what? That's all I'm gonna say right there. You guys can look at the rest of that on your own free time, and look at the rest of the article on your own free time. You can just watch it on your own free time. It's up to you, you know. But I just wanted to say something about that because it's really, really bad. This is a bad image and a bad representation to not just only African American females, but also all females in America. This is a bad image. And I think that something like this should not be promoted. I don't think something like this should be encouraged. And this one, like I said, she's not ugly. She's not, you know, she's in the face. But there's an image of her. One of the videos shows her with thong panties on, twerking. This woman weighs almost 300 pounds, maybe over 300 pounds, and she has thong panties on, twerking. Please explain to me how that's tasteful. And people can call me old fashioned, whatever, man. Look, that's not tasteful. It's nasty. It stinks. And this is what our young people look. This is what our young people got to look at. And then we wonder why our young people are so sexually promiscuous and so messed up mentally. Look at who they're looking up to. So-called pop stars like this? Are you kidding me? And for the Library of Congress or whatever to even think about allowing her to use that flute and blow that flute, whatever, to even consider her to do that is distasteful on their part. They could have picked somebody else. How come you didn't pick Stevie Wonder or if you wanted to pick somebody black? Let's assume that this is all about blackity black, black. How come, why not pick a Stevie Wonder or someone who has at least some kind of integrity, okay, and some visible appeal? But no, they pick her. It's disgusting. It's straight out disgusting, and I had to say something about it. This kind of stuff needs to be exposed, and it needs to stop. I know it's not going to stop, but it needs to be exposed, man. It needs to be exposed. And I think in the ending of this video that a lot of times these kind of celebrities are promoted and pushed because a lot of times adults don't say nothing about it. They don't say nothing about it. They don't speak out against it. They just go about their lolly business like nothing's going on. So if the elites, don't sense any kind of opposition from other adults, they're going to say, what's the point? We can go ahead and keep pushing it anyway. Adults are not going to resist us. They're not going to oppose what we do. We'll go ahead and keep pushing it anyway. And this is what we keep getting. We're going to keep getting what we're getting until we say something about it, until we say, wait a minute, hold it. Certain things we shouldn't be promoting. Everybody has their own right to be entertained. That's okay. But when you put this stuff in the mainstream and you push it and you push it and you push it, you have an ulterior motive. And I believe that ulterior motive is to corrupt and damage our children sexually, psychologically, mentally, and spiritually. That's just my opinion. And ending this on this note, that stinks, is nasty. She has a foul mouth and she needs to be, okay, she needs to sit down as far as I'm concerned. She just needs to sit down and stop doing that. Don't be on the Library of Congress blowing. That's nasty. That's nasty. I don't. But you know what? Let me end it on this. I don't too much fault her because the Library of Congress, they're the ones picked her. It's the leaders that keep pushing this retardation. It's the leaders. I'm just saying. What do you guys think about this? Do you think this is becoming? Do you think this is proper? Give me your comments in the comment section below. Like, share, and subscribe to this channel. God bless you all. See you again.